I've always loved riding. Every time I'm on the motorcycle, there's this sense of freedom and happiness. It's almost like meditation for the mind. And being able to capture that and depict it through the lens, that's a different story. One that I've been practicing since the last 4 years. And today I'm going to reveal it all. I'm going to reveal all the tricks that I've learned so that you can make your motorcycle shots look cinematic. And the first thing that changed everything for me was POV shots. I have experimented with a bunch of different mounts, but I've found out that chest mounts never gave me that true rider's point of view. It always pointed too low for me. So when I switched to chin mount, a whole new world opened up. More sky, more road, more of the frame, which means more cinematic. So I think chin mount is the best mount for POV shots. And then I started tweaking with the settings. I always shoot manual with a lower frame rate of about 25 FPS and a shutter speed of 1/50, and I always put on an ND filter. What happens when you shoot with a lower frame rate and an ND filter is that you get smooth buttery motion blur, and more motion blur means more cinematic for me. The shots always look good with motion blur. And then I started playing around with the stabilization. When you turn off the stabilization completely, you get a very wide perspective and the shots turn out a little shaky and more impactful, which is more helpful if you want to show a fast-paced action shot. But if you want smooth and buttery cinematic motion, just turn off the basic level of stabilization that you have on your action camera and that should be good. Once I figured out the perfect POV setup for me, I wanted more angles. When it comes to mounted shots, this simple little tool changed everything for me. This is known as the magic arm and you can pretty much mount it anywhere. Mounting it at the handlebar, pointing it back towards me, opened up a whole new different angle. It captured all the little reactions, the head tilts, the breathing, the little things that you don't normally notice. And then I started pushing it further, mounting it near the rear wheel to get a low angle perspective. Then I mounted it near the crash guard, pointing it towards the foot to see the gear shift. Then I pointed it towards the front wheel to see the front wheel spinning and the suspension going up and down. The possibilities with this little thing is endless. You can pretty much mount it anywhere. So I think this is an incredibly useful tool. And as I started editing all those angles together, I've come to a realization that visuals alone is incomplete without the sound, which naturally brings me to today's sponsor, Artlist. For the last 2 years, the platform that I've leaned on the most is Artlist. It started with music, finding the right tracks to match the mood of my ride. But Artlist has grown into something much bigger than that. Now it's a complete creative toolbox in one place. They have a massive library of music, sound effects, templates, plugins, and AI voiceover that you can tweak to fit your story. And recently, the platform got even crazier. They launched AI image and video generation using the latest AI models on the market right now. So say for example, I'm missing a shot, or I want a shot that is stylized according to my story, so I can directly generate it within Artlist without jumping between 5 different apps. What I love the most is the simplicity. It's one subscription, one platform, and everything you need for every creative project ever. And since this is a holiday season, you have a holiday sale going on. So you have 40% off on the annual AI plan and you have 20% off on the Max Pro annual plan. Plus you also get 2 months free using the link in my description. I have used Artlist for 2 years straight and it has helped me in pretty much every creative project over the last 2 years. So I definitely recommend you to go and check it out once. And thank you Artlist for sponsoring today's video. Once I had the mounted shots, I felt like I needed some contrast, something more quieter and calmer, and that is the reason I always carry a tripod in my backpack. Some of my favorite motorcycle shots are actually some of the easiest ones, and they are all captured from tripods. So what I like to do is I place the camera parallel to the bike. I like to hop on the bike, kickstart it and move out of the frame. And sometimes I do the opposite and move into the frame into a specific position that makes a good composition, that makes a good framing. This is very simple but intentional. Sometimes I like to use the road as a leading line and frame myself at the rule of thirds and move toward the camera. Sometimes I do the opposite and move away from the camera. What that does is it gives a sense of moving forward, gives a sense of distance. But it always doesn't have to be rule of thirds. See your background and frame your shot according to that. Sometimes the roads are curvy, sometimes they're straight. Use the road as leading lines and frame the composition accordingly. These are some of my favorite shots that I captured till date, and you can clearly see they're quite simple. But even with the most beautiful still shots, I sometimes want the camera to move. I want the camera to breathe. Camera movements added a whole new layer to my cinematic shots. Now, whether it is a gimbal or a handheld movement, it doesn't matter. You just have to add a subtle motion. It can be a slow orbit around the bike so that the background seems like it's moving and the foreground also seems like it's moving, keeping the subject in the center. It can be a reveal shot from behind an object like a helmet or a tree, revealing your motorcycle. It can be a gentle, slow push in or push out, or you can add a little bit of barrel roll or rotation to your shots with a gentle push in, or you can go crazy and mix all of those motions together, but make sure to keep it subtle, just enough so that you feel the motion. One simple trick that I would recommend to everyone is find the right angle at which your motorcycle looks like a beast. For me, if I shoot from a top-down angle, my motorcycle doesn't look that great, but when I shoot it parallelly from a low angle, it looks like a beast, and that's true pretty much for every motorcycle. Furthermore, my Scrambler 400X also looks a little bit, according to me, from the front it looks a bit odd, but from the rear it looks very good. So I would recommend play around with different angles and find the best angle that looks good on your motorcycle. So everything I shared is just what I do to make my motorcycle shots look a little more cinematic. I'm still learning, still experimenting, but these small changes made the biggest difference for me. And if you're exploring with motorcycle cinematics too, I hope these tips will help you. And always remember to keep creating.